Why do I like cigars so much? Well, today we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about it uh, while I try a Jaime Garcia Reserva Especial. Jaime Garcia Reserva Especial. So, never had this one. We'll see what it's about. Good draw. So, man, it all started growing up. Once upon a time, outside of my neighborhood, just down the street, there was a small little market store called BJ's, which is now called Ballpark Corner Market, because it was right across the street from a Little League baseball field, and right behind that was the high school and the semi-pro field. But anyway, when I was growing up, it was called BJ's, and we would always, me and my family would stop down there and get some hot dogs or just some things we needed. And my mom was actually a smoker. She smoked cigarettes her whole life. So I think I was born in secondhand smoke, but I have never tried a cigarette. Never tried a cigarette. Never had the desire. Couldn't stand the smoke, believe it or not. Just cigarettes, vaping, I'm out. For some reason, I just never will try it. But I had an Uncle Henry who was a pipe smoker, and he would come over to the house, and we used to call him Uncle Henry stories. Him and my dad would just have talks and tell old stories, and I loved listening to him. Like I was just the little rugrat listening in to the old dudes sharing great memories with each other. And would love just that smell of pipe tobacco and taking in them. Anyway, when we go to BJ's always had, and I think it became outlawed later on, but they would have the bubblegum cigars, and me and my friends would get them and act like gangsters and thought we were cool, and it would take us forever to even chew the gum because we just wanted to treat it like a cigar. And so that was planted the seed, and seeing, in movies, cigars, just always thought there's something about that. Later on, me and a couple of my best friends played baseball in high school, would sneak and get Swisher Sweet cigars, which gas station cigars, which are just bad. I mean, I'm just saying, they weren't great. And we just thought, man, we're going to celebrate the weekend with the Swisher Sweets. But there was a place downtown Bristol called Sidetrack Tobacco that sold real hand-rolled, like authentic, real cigars. And there was an X amount of times that we were able to get our hands on a real cigar, and just thought we were kings when we had a real cigar. That's pretty good. That's really good. Jaime Garcia, knock it out of the park. So if you've ever seen pictures of like Babe Ruth with a cigar, like we thought that's us, and we were dogs. So anyway, through college, me and my friends would hang out at the lake or around the campfire, and we try to get some good cigars and just act a fool, man. Tell crazy stories and just create memories. So I have great memories around this, and it was always just a celebration to have a cigar and creating, being memory makers with a good stick. Never got it really out of my system except once I started dating Sherry and we got serious, and she never knew that I smoked cigars. I had, that was just for the boys. So I never really did that. She never really knew that, but it's kind of like if you go back and watch my surf thing, it just become a hobby and something inside me that I enjoyed. I kept up with who was making what and just had those great memories. Even had a book about the history of cigars and how it was a spiritual thing for the natives, and just enjoyed the history of it and everything about it. The fact that it's there's no chemicals, it's just pure tobacco. And like I don't, contrary to what you might think, because in every one of these videos you've seen me with a cigar, I don't smoke a cigar every day. Saturday is my big day now for cigars. Once we get through the week, I'm going to have a great Jesus time here on the porch that I call my cigar lounge. I'm going to talk to God and I'm going to smoke a good cigar. What's crazy is most people try their first cigar when they're in college or college age. Like that's normally when people try a cigar. They celebrate a victory, they celebrate a big win or something like that, and they create a memory with this. And then you think about Winston Churchill, like that. Just a lot to this. But I don't smoke them every day. Hey, we got through the week. There was some spiritual things to celebrate, and a big thing with, even in the military, like generals and soldiers, if they had a big victory, they'd celebrate with a cigar. So there's the history of that. So all that wrapped up was just a draw to me. So anyway, once Caleb, we had Caleb, never really thought about it. Just always kind of had that, every now and then, man, we need to celebrate. I need to get a good cigar. But I didn't want Caleb growing up in secondhand smoke and coughing all the time like I did. But so when Caleb went to college, I just thought, man, we're empty nesters, and I want to have that memory maker enjoyment again once a week. So I told Sherry, listen, I used to do this, and I'm going to go to a cigar shop and get a couple of good cigars, and I'm going to enjoy them and have my alone time on the porch. And she just thought, you're an idiot. What? But because she is who she is, she doesn't care for the smell of it, so she doesn't hang out with me yet. She doesn't mind it. And as a matter of fact, she had even tried a cigar on a missions trip. She worked when she was in college. She went on a missions trip with Campus Crusade for Christ, Branson, Missouri. Worked out there for the summer. And of course they had a devotion one night and everybody tried a cigar. So she has that memory making legacy as well. But man, it's just the fact that it brings people together. Like if you go to a cigar shop, cigar lounge, there's no judgment. It's just a brotherhood, a sisterhood. There's ladies too involved in cigars that I enjoy. And as a matter of fact, when I started going back, I started going to Sidetrack in Bristol, which now it's moved up to right off exit 5, I think it is. Yeah, exit 5. Man, if you're in Bristol, go see Go by Sidetrack, tell them I sent you, and get some great cigars. Chris and the boys, man. It was just like stepping into a whole nother family. Like the first time I was in there, Ron, one of the guys that worked there, knew my dad, or knew of my dad, and just struck up a conversation. And I go there every week just to see those people. Like I love them. Like I love them like they were family. Chris and Melissa, the owners, they got a little dog. It comes out, and I spend time with the dog, and it follows me around because I keep scratching its ear. Love that dog. And Ron, and even the people who are in there just smoking cigars, like get to meet some awesome people. And that's part of the culture of this, is it's just a community. Like you're automatically a part of something. And I know to some of y'all that sounds just foreign and crazy, but there's a difference. And man, I really enjoy just being able to hang out with those people, and that time that I spend there, even if it's a few minutes, or if I'm there a while checking out the new cigars and asking questions. It never is just talk about cigars. A lot of times it's just life. Hey, how you doing? How's Caleb doing in college? And it's so awesome just to feel that. As a matter of fact, what's so cool is when I leave there, I always tell them, hey guys, I love y'all. And they'll tell me back, love you too. And dude, like, where does that happen? Where does that happen? Especially with grown men that hardly know each other. Like I just think that's so cool. And to me, it's a Jesus thing. I know you're saying, well, Jesus wouldn't smoke cigars. Possibly not. Maybe. We don't know that, but you're probably right. But here's what I know is he'd be there, and he'd be hanging out. And one of the cool things was, second or third time that I went there, Chris had got in a conversation with me, and it really just kind of wondering, hey, what do you do? Told him that me and Sherry had developed a college ministry and what all it had done. And also I wrote a book, and we were getting that out. And he said, you wrote a book? And I said, yeah. And he looked it up on Amazon. He said, there it is. Cross wrote a book. Well, everybody in there wanted a copy. So I said, I tell you what, y'all let me know how many you need, and I'll bring them down here. If y'all really want them, then you can buy them. I'll let you look at them. And Chris said, no, let's do this. He said, I want you to sell them here. Well, little did he know, and I told him, I was like, here's the cool thing about that, Chris, is the students have nicknamed it the Cigar Edition. It's called Life's Field Guide. Here it is. And they nicknamed it the Cigar Edition because I talk about cigars, and at the very end, after the book, I have an extra section just called Cigar Talks. And a lot of we don't call them sermons, we just call them talks, because I'm just talking with the college students whenever I do a big talk, or with them, wherever. It's just like we're having a conversation. And when I share that with them, I say this is kind of like sitting around the campfire, having a good cigar together, and just telling you about my friend Jesus, and in a real way, not in just a churchy, stay out of my face way, but in a real everyday life. Hey man, you're not going to believe this. So Chris loved that it was called the Cigar Edition. So I had made him this little display out of cigar box, and took him some copies, took him down there, and man, they're down to one copy. They've almost sold out of that. So how cool is it that God can use his creation, that man wrapped and made into a cigar, and those guys down there, people who may never go to a church, are interested in what I got to say in that book because of getting to sit around and just hang out. and just get to know each other. And to me, that is, like I have said, I don't know if you watched other videos, but when you like this, you commit to chilling out for an hour, to just relaxing and being where you're at for that time being. And I love that. I love that when I light this up, man, I'm committed to being right here, praying, meditating, talking to God about the students, about my family, and just being in this moment. Like when you light that commitment, it is, hey, okay, let's take a breath and just chill out. And I'll tell you, there's some other people online that if you're into cigars, like check out Cigar Church. They have a channel, and it's these three guys, Dan, Clay, and Steve, and I've been watching them for a while now, and love what they do. Love what they had to say. Like they're into cigars and going to a cigar lounge, and they call it Cigar Church, and they'll do a podcast and just talking to each other about a topic, and then they'll bring in some scripture, bring in the word, and it's really good. Like check out Cigar Church. There's another guy that I watch from Hawaii. His name's Christian, and he is a Christian. Awesome Hawaiian guy who loves cigars. It's called Smoke Break, and it's just him on his porch, and he's lighting up. But he really has a good palate. Like he'll talk about flavors that he's getting, and he'll do the really cool retro hail like through his nose. Like I can't do that. Like I enjoy it, but I can't do that, or the O-rings or anything like that. But that dude, man, I love watching him. Love hearing what he's got to say about good cigars. And actually had seen a video where he had smoked this one recently, and he liked it. So I thought, man, if I ever see it, I'm going to grab that. And saw it today and sidetrack and asked Ron and some of those guys, hey, what do you think about this one? They gave it the thumbs up. So I'm all in. Hey, I'll try it. Let's go. And I get to share it with you today. But man, and I'll tell you another cool thing, and this may get a little controversial. It really not, but some of y'all might want to chill a little bit, but here it is. What I have found is a lot of times this is really good for friendship, for relaxing, and for mentorship. I know that may sound like, oh, you're passing on bad habits. Ease up, Thunder. Easy, Thunder. Hold on. I never tell somebody, hey, man, you ought to do this. Everybody, these young adults, man, they got their own choices to make. But when we're sitting around a fire pit and just talking, hey, do y'all mind if I smoke a cigar? No. And if they're of age and they want a cigar, then hey, let's do that. So anyway, to me, just my opinion, this has opened up thousands of relational doors. This is an absolute awesome relational tool for me to talk about this, to talk about my life, to hear about other people's life, and ultimately, because it is who I am, to share about my friend Jesus. And I know that's, like, I don't intentionally say, oh, you have to smoke cigars to share a relationship with Christ. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying, for me, it's worked out that way. And I think that's by God's design. You can have your own opinion. I know some of y'all think that's the nastiest thing I've ever seen. Hey, God bless you. Here's what I'll say. I am so grateful for all the people that I have met, for all the people that I get to watch now online. I'm so thankful that God created this to have a common bond that exceeds that bond into depths relationally that have changed eternity. Like I'm telling you, people have told me what they've gotten out of this, and when it started with, see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Light up a cigar, grab a seat by the fire, and let's talk. That's how it starts. And people, I'm so grateful for people who have gotten that, but people who have been burnt by the church, who grew up in a very condemning way of religion, have said, man, I haven't heard it put that way, and I appreciate it. Man, that's through God, and I'm thankful that He's used this in my life as a hobby of something that I enjoy. Saturdays are for the boy. Saturdays are for cigars. That there's a reality relationally that I've got to experience just through the enjoyment that I have through this. Now, it's a personal thing, and I would never encourage or discourage anyone else to jump into this hobby, habit, whatever you want to call it. But I did want you to know, what is the whole thing about cigars and you, Matt? Well, it's been this lifelong thing, like surfing has. Part of my who I am at my core. It's funny. I'll tell you one more story. I have a way older brother who everybody knows that he is a cigar enthusiast. But no one really knew that about me, because this kind of was something personal to me. So I kind of kept it under the radar. I was the youngest in the family, and a lot that I did was under the radar, because I thought, man, they can do stuff, but I'm going to do stuff. Like, no one knew about the Swisher Sweets. When I was a teenager, I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and gotten a pipe kit and flavored tobacco, because I told you about my Uncle Henry. And I tried that. First time I inhaled, man, I thought I had exploded my lungs, and I couldn't quit coughing, about threw up. And squirrels. And I thought, man, I don't ever want to do that again. But no one knew about it. Like I was a rebel, I guess. Redneck. There you go. Little rednecks sneaking around, smoking pipes and cigars. But man, I tell you, I have some of the best memories, that I've celebrated some of my best memories with one of these. And, you know, a lot of people, you get one of these, the birth of your first child, and some people just hold on to it, never smoke it, just as a memento, and just a lot in this. I enjoy the history, the richness. I enjoy people I've met, people I meet. So yeah, to me it has become a relational legacy to share these with people I love. So I hope that someday you and I might get together somewhere and smoke a good cigar. Now, there's one thing that I had heard through my study of this, but the guys at the Cigar Church, they use this all the time. And when I heard them say it, I was like, yes, let's go, baby. Because a lot of people never heard it. The great theologian Charles Spurgeon was in a debate or an argument, something about smoking a cigar. I forget the whole story, but anyway, at the end of that, he said, "Tonight I'm going to go home and smoke a good cigar for the glory of God." And when I first heard that years ago, I thought, amen to you, bro. Like, people like him and Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, like, it just love to sit around and have a cigar with those guys and just talk faith. But anyway, when I heard the Cigar Church guys say that, man, that fired me up. So anyway, go check them out. Check out Smoke Break, my Hawaiian dude out there. He's doing great stuff, just sharing about cigars. If you're interested in cigars, I love the Holtz cigar. They're a cigar shop up north. I love watching their videos. Like, they're really good about, they talk about what whiskey is good with certain cigars. They even have videos like, if you're a first timer, how to cut, how to light. Real informative, but those guys are just laid back and love watching it. Sometimes they'll play games, like the film crew will take off the little wrapper and they'll try to guess what it is, this or that, or they'll have ash competitions, who can have the longest ash. It's just fun videos. So Holtz, they're fun to watch if you want to check out cigar culture. But I know I'm rambling. It's because this does have a meaning to me, and I love that. I love that. And if you didn't know, a lot of these cigars are family businesses that had to flee from Cuba and figure it out, because Castro and the whole thing with that embargo, they had to flee, and this was their business. Like, they were craftsmen at rolling cigars like that. In Cuba, that was it. And they had to flee, and they end up really creating the modern day, just passed down generations to their family, modern day hand-rolled cigars through Nicaragua and in Dominican Republic. Like, those are the two big ones, and Honduras has a lot, but there's others, but those are the two biggies. But it's these family businesses that have grown, and they, Tampa Bay used to be the cigar capital of the world before the whole embargo thing and all that. But there's a lot of headquarters down in Florida, around Tampa and Miami area. But a lot of these families are family businesses who have great faith in God. Perdomo, I can't even talk today. Perdomo, the family cigars, that they don't shy away from sharing their faith and their love of family. I like their stuff too. I'll smoke one of them on the champagne, 10th anniversary champagne. Woo, that's butter, baby. That is smooth. But anyway, it's just, I respect that. I respect the old world families, man, just having to figure it out and rising from the ashes, so to speak, into this, really what it is today as an industry, and great legacies and stories in that. I enjoy that. So that, anyway, that's my whole thing with cigars, my rambling today. So if you're in Bristol, Sidetrack, tell them you saw me and wanted to stop in there and smoke a good cigar, or grab a couple. Tell them you love them. And if you want, man, you can get a copy of this there. Maybe. I think they only got a copy left, but I'll get them some more. But anyway, get a copy of that. And if you are interested in the book, again, go to Amazon. It's on Amazon. I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of good reviews so far, but it's all about relationships in your life. And man, to me, this is all relational. So right now, I'm going to go finish this cigar to the glory of God. I love you guys. I mean it. Make it a great day.